Since many years we hear about stuffs that might be imbalanced. Queens, infestors, vipers, queens, lurkers, queens. I mean, yes, those are all Zerg units, but it's just a coincidence. And Ghost is not a Zerg unit, so definitely Zerg cannot be IMBA. But on this game, I believe I have found the true imbalance of the game. Being matched with a bad ally when playing random 2v2. Or, at least, that's what my ally said to me. I know I am bad, but hey, I'm not in my prime like a young and gorgeous Dutch Protoss player we all love. And I don't play just to accumulate wins and more wins again. I just wanted to play a nice macro game, as I told my ally. Yes, I made a few bad moves, but I tried to defend well. Yes, I was supply blocked more times than I have fingers. Yes, but I did my best to make efficient trades. But after the game, my ally flamed me in the chat, saying I did nothing but building probes, and that when he killed 3 bases all by himself, I was just a dead weight, and that eventually I made him lose. So please tell me, Captain, do I suck so bad that I made this game IMBA for my ally? This request was sent in by a player named the A-Move Artist on Europe with Diamond, 3400 and 34 MMR, with the question, do I suck or is my ally an idiot and is he wrong? Because that's basically what it comes down to. All right, my friends, here we go. It is A-Move Artist and Moller versus Americ and Misha, our first ever 2v2 submission. And rather than focus on whether a unit is imbalanced, we're going to take a look to see whether the teams are imbalanced due to A-Move Artist's poor performance, as was suggested apparently by his teammate Moller. I've never done something like this, but I've been loving the 2v2 content lately. So, you know what? It's time to go for it. Let's have a look. Let's have an open look as to whether the real reason why the blue team lost over here is because our Protoss player A-Move Artist sucked balls, or if there are maybe different reasons in this game. Let's just take a look at the build order, although I genuinely don't care so much about the build orders in 2v2. 2v2, because it's a team game, it's really about communication, consent, knowing what your ally is doing ahead of time, ideally. And so far, have you had any communication yet? No, we just had a good luck, have fun, a tie U2, and another good luck, have fun. So fairly little communication. Oh, look at that. Terran, 2 racks. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at you. A-Move Artist here is being a phenomenal ally. He's doing something that a lot of people in 2v2 do, which makes a lot of sense. What he's doing here is scouting, and then on top of that, writing to his ally exactly what he is seeing, and maybe even trying to interpret that information a little bit, maybe give some tips to the ally there. I think this is really cool because majority of the time when you're playing at a lower level, you can't trust on your own ally to, kind of do his own research to check, hey, what did that probe scout? And if you believe that you have the wisdom to interpret your scouting information, then this is a very cool thing to do. And so far, it's only been factual. 2 racks on the side of Terran. This was indeed a pool first. This was a pool that finished way earlier than a hatch gas pool or a hatch pool would finish. So good information here being communicated. So has this build order been perfect? No, it looks kind of weird, to be honest. But so far as a teammate, A-Move Artist has been doing just fine because, let's face it, what is Moller doing? Moller is actually going for a Ling Rush, but he's doing this without communicating that to his ally. And that is a real issue because you can't expect a Diamond 3.4k player to pay attention to the opponent's bases and also pay attention to his ally's base. He shouldn't have to. Why shouldn't you have to? Because an easy sentence of, hey, I'm Ling rushing would basically give A-Move Artist all the information he needs to have. That's everything he needs, really. He doesn't need more. And the moment you tell him that, then A-Move Artist can either help you out or at least be mentally prepared for that. Because right now what is happening, look at this. Look at this Protoss player, okay? This is a Protoss player that has an order call, no infrastructure set up whatsoever to help you out in this attack. That means that this is a solo 1 versus 2 attack. in a theoretical world, this should never in a million years work. It just shouldn't. There's going to, even if these guys are playing a very standard macro game, they will have enough units to deal with this because they have twice the units naturally than what you have. So I think this is a very bad idea to go for such an aggressive move without warning your teammate. Now, had A move artist been capable of doing something better? Yes, I don't think building these stasis wards here defensively is the optimal use of the Oracle at this point. You know, if your ally is attacking, which I think it was pretty clear that that was what he was doing after you saw the 40 links, you probably should have actually assisted him with the Oracle rather than first building a stasis ward at home and then finally flying across the map. There was actually no anti-air here. You could have sniped morphing banelings, you could have cleared some of these Hellions as well, which would have been a huge deal because that was really the only counter here to the links. On top of that, you moved your Stalkers and Adepts to the middle of the map for no real reason. Links here are going to be running by. So yeah, communication is definitely an issue, but A move artist also has made some significant errors so far already in this game. Hellions are going to clear the links over here. Banelings coming back as well. I mean, this is not great micro out of the blue Zerg player. I think this is the Zerg player pinging, right? It's like, this base is low. I think pinging sometimes isn't enough. Like, imagine our Zerg player right now would send a message, base is low, Oracle can snipe, okay? That would be a super useful message to receive for a move artist who was probably busy building stage ward. You can also harass. This is the worst way to communicate. Wait, what? Nah? Macro? You can also harass. Nah, macro. This is okay. I was actually gonna flame Muller here first communication, but a move artist deserves a little bit of flame here too. I'm not gonna lie. This is like if your wife comes home after a long day of work and you're standing in the kitchen watching a boiling pot of water. And your wife asks you, hey, can you throw in some eggs? Because I would like some boiled eggs. And you go, nah, I'm boiling the water. It's like, yeah, you prick. The entire point of boiling the water is to then throw something in it. You're just gonna stand there watching a boiling pot. Like, just because you're playing a macro game doesn't mean you can't harass or do a timing push, okay? Sometimes lower level players think that playing a macro game is kind of like starfishing. You know, you just kind of hang out and relax while the other player just does stuff to you. It's like, no, like you have to interact as well in there, you know? Like you can do a committed timing push in a macro game. Macro just means that you're generally focusing on furthering your economy majority of the time and that you're not doing an all-in or some type of cheese build. That is just what a macro game is. It doesn't mean that you have to do absolutely nothing for the rest of the game. You just lay there and you know, see where the boat takes you. No, you still got to interact with the opponent. So I think saying, no, I'm macroing if someone asks you to harass is kind of weird because the Oracle probably would have flown into a mine, to be honest, but could have cleared the hatchery a bit earlier. That's all I'm trying to say here, all right? This is actually good harass. This actually is very good harass. This wasn't announced though, but I guess if you're just harassing, you don't have to announce it. If you're truly trying to attack, it's different. A move artist also has phenomenal supply here. Look at this, 100 supply out of 101, highest supply in the game by far. Very good worker count as well. Nice looking army. I think if we're taking a look at the army values here, yeah, he's by far the highest right now. Teching into charge as well, into +1, adding in cannons, getting storm. I'm honestly loving this for the A move artist. Taking a fast 4th base too. Like, he's honestly doing great on eco. He's doing great in unit composition. Blink Stalker, Storm Charge Lot. That is actually a legit composition. Some minor issues with the communication, but honestly, those communication issues, they kind of pale in comparison to what Muller has so far, you know, done. He just went for some blind ling attacks without actually communicating that he was going for these big blind ling attacks. It's like if there's someone has the communication issues, it is not our boy the A move artist. Our A move artist is actually doing a pretty sick job. It's going to recharge this energy again. It's going to get some stasis. Poke. Now to me, this could be interpreted in multiple ways. It could be like, hey, buddy, why aren't we poking? But it could also be like, hey, do you want to poke together? A move artist responds in a very reasonable way, saying, I want to wait for Storm, which I think is absolutely the perfect call. And then just going for a bit of an attack here. We're going to have Storm, we're going to have Charge. We have a lot of Templar, we have a lot of Blink Stalkers as well. I really do like this position. I love this spot for a move out. I think this is a good timing. What do you have going on here? Okay, we have a big roach push coming towards the bottom for whatever reason. So he's not going to be joining up with the main army. Okay, Aim of Artist says go. He's not quite in position though. This could be misinterpreted by Mahler to actually just run in here. But he now realizes this army is too big. Okay. Aim of Artist shows where he's going. That's a good move. Mahler is going all the way back home. No, it's going back across. Okay, we're now going to have an attack. Into mines, into tanks. We have a bunch of Stormers available. Roaches are completely running out of the fight here for whatever reason. I think Aim of Artist thought that the Roaches were going to commit. So he fully went in. Committed into the spot, actually cast a lot of storms, killed quite a few units, but also lost the entirety of his army. What the hell is Mahler doing during all of this? I think he's forgetting about these roaches. He has just 14 roaches idling here on the right side. He's also building 9 spores. It's kind of a weird move. A move artist with pinks is now requesting a defense over here. It still isn't coming. I mean, if these roaches show up, this is still just going to be a pretty easy hold, no? There's really not that many units. 14 roaches in front of this with the stalkers. I think you would be capable of holding this. Maybe not anymore now. A move artist is going to try to hold this base. This is actually a mistake. He should actually be giving this up. Getting some stasis over here. Get a Templar, energy recharge it. But lower level players often put too much value in bases that don't really matter. Like, you just evacuate this. You have like 20 workers over your other players. I do like this run by, but these roaches should have been helping earlier on. So although this play is good right now, if these units had just newly hatched, but that wasn't the case. These units were hiding for a long time because they were afraid of a fight, and now they're going for a backstab. If you're going to go for a backstab, you should mention to your ally that you're going to a backstab, because then maybe he will give up this base a little bit easier, knowing that these roaches are going to kill a base as well. But if you don't communicate that, it is absolutely impossible for a move artist to make the correct judgment calls here. Like, so far I'm actually way more upset by the way that Mahler is playing and communicating than by what a move artist is doing. A move artist is doing a completely reasonable job in communicating as well as in playing. By far the best macro in this game, or at least the highest worker counts, the quickest to rise in infrastructure as well. Not the greatest upgrades, but good enough that I wouldn't be too worried about it. Army composition, fairly good as well. Did you finish macroing? No, he's still going, you prick. He has 2400 minerals. If he gets to stabilize, you guys actually have a really good chance. Maybe instead of crap talking your teammate, you can just reinforce this position with your Ling Hydra. Or you could have maybe not idled your roaches for 10 minutes in the bottom right here. That would have been fairly helpful. Yeah, right now we ideally just get a Templar in. Ideally we get a Templar in. But it ain't working here. It ain't working. Yeah, too many Marines. What are the upgrades on these? Just 1-1. Huh, that really sucks. 1-1 upgrades. 2-2 for our good friend. We now have 3 carriers. He managed to get 3 carriers out as well soon. Dude, they were so close to just winning this game straight up based on unit composition, if I'm being real honest. Like, so close. So freaking close. I just don't understand. Stop it. I did my part well. You did? Yeah. You know what? A move artist actually did his part freaking well. Look how many resources he lost in this game. Now, usually losing a lot of resources doesn't necessarily show that you did well, but it shows that you had a crap ton of units. He lost 17k resources in a freaking 12-minute game, while you lost 8,000 resources. Now, face value, that can't tell you that much in a 2v2, because one player can have a different role. But the problem is that Mahler didn't communicate anything as to what his plan was for the entirety, basically. The moment he communicated some type of plans, like, hey, you want to poke, a move artist immediately responded with a yes, but I want to wait for Storm. Communication wise, this guy is a relationship master, my friend. Absolutely. Hell yeah. You go to a relation therapist with a move artist. This guy he's kicking you out. You're too good. Take my job. Here's my title, my PhD. Boom, out of here. So for the question, did you suck or was your ally an idiot, a move artist? I'm afraid that in this case, your ally was actually an idiot. He didn't communicate very well with you. And his strategy wasn't great, but I'm okay with that. As long as he communicates whatever the hell it is that he's going to do and what he wants from you. He doesn't tell you what you want. You're just doing what you think is the correct thing, and you communicate it. You're completely in the clear, my friend. You're completely in the clear. So, no, you don't suck. It's the way of the world. All right. A positive outcome here in our first 2v2 thing. I'm not sure if we're going to do many more of these, because I feel like we're going to have very similar outcomes, but yeah, we'll see. Submit some. Also submit your regular IODIS here down in the comments, no, the comment section, description below. And I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thanks so much for watching, and bye-bye.